everybody, and thank you for being so faithful. Why did I say that? But anyway, thank you for being so faithful and joining our kids, our Gracepoint Kids Online every week. Thank you so much for being so faithful. Again, I said faithful. Anyway, boys and girls, and if this is your very first time watching us here online at Gracepoint Kids Online, welcome, welcome. We love to hear about you and how you are and where you are and what you do and what you look like. So please send me an email at liana@gracepoint.co.za and I will connect with you in a flash. Right, now, boys and girls, I know, and especially if you're new, you won't know this yet, but this is our special time of the day when we go to the birthday board to see who had a birthday and we celebrated with you. Let's quickly zoom there. I'll see you back now. Birthday, all of you. Hope you had a wonderful day and that you were spoiled rotten and got that special gift that you wanted for your birthday. Now, before we go to praise and worship, let's worship God with our offering. Don't forget to put your 10% of your pocket money in here, and when it's full, give it to Mom so they can pay it into our account here at Gracepoint. And why do we do that, guys? Especially this month when our focus is on justice and compassion. Those are two big words, but basically it just means that we look after people who is less privileged who we are. They don't have clothes, they don't have some places to go. We just look after them especially. We do it every month, but especially during this month of July. So thank you for all our parents who so faithfully have given to us so that we can continue looking after people as well as stay on the line with you and me and also at the campus itself in the classrooms. I hope you will come and visit us soon here at Gracepoint on a Sunday morning and so that I can meet you face to face. But for now, I'm so glad you joined us online. Okay, guys, are you ready to pray for the offering? Let's close our eyes. Father God, I just thank you for the faithfulness of our families and the children out there who give of their tithes and offering. And that helps us, Father God, to look after your house, the people in your house, our neighbors, the people around us. So thank you, Father God, for your faithfulness. And also thank you for our family's faithfulness. I ask you that you will continue to bless them as they walk in your favor. In Jesus' precious name, amen. Okay, boys and girls, it's time for you to go bop up and down with Kezia. I'll see you after that. Bye!
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Worship with Kezia. My name is Kezia, but you can call me Kez or Kezia. And what is your name? Well, it's really nice to meet you. And if you are here for the very first time, hi guys! I'm so glad you guys decided to join us this morning. I hope you have loads of fun with us. And for all of you that have been joining us the past couple of weeks, hi guys! I'm so glad you guys are back and I hope you guys have loads of fun as well. Today we have 2 songs for you. And the first one is called Tell the World. And the moves are really easy. So, this is how it goes. So you're gonna go, tell the world that Jesus lives. Tell the world that, tell the world that, tell the world that he died for them. Tell the world that he lives again. And that's all you need to know for this week. So let's do it one more time, okay? So it goes, tell the world that Jesus lives. Tell the world that, tell the world that, tell the world that he died for them. Tell the world that he lives again. And that's all you need to know. So, are you guys ready? I can't hear you. Perfect. Let's go. Well done, everybody. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did with that one. So, the second song we're going to do is Let Your Light Shine. And the moves are super, super easy. All you're going to do is let your light shine. And you're going to point up to Jesus. And you're going to show that He's showing His light. And that's all you need to know. So it goes, let your light shine, let your light shine, let your light shine. And let Jesus shine through you. So let's do it one more time, okay? So it goes, let your light shine, let your light shine. And let Jesus shine through you. And that's all you need to know. So, are you ready? Perfect. Let's go.
Giant fears are really small when all you
amazing. I hope you guys had loads of fun with that one. I know I did. And that's all we have for you this week on Worship with Kezia. I hope you guys had fun this week. I hope you guys keep safe this week. Bye, guys.
Welcome back, boys and girls. I love praise and worship with Kezia. She always brings me such joy, and I always have a smile on my face when I come back from praise and worship, don't you? Okay, boys and girls. Now, last week, if you can remember, I was talking about our box of fruit, because remember, we are on the journey of our lesson or our series of fruit, and more fruit. Now, very important, it's not about the fruit, it's about the seed that is in the fruit. And that seed is that one little thing that can become a big tree. And if I plant the little seed of love, little seed of joy, little seed of doing good things, little seed of peace, little seed of whatever else, patience, I'm going to get a big harvest of all of those. And that's why we use fruit, not because the fruit of the Spirit that the Holy Spirit gives us are fruit. No, it just makes sense to use the example of fruit because of that little seed that becomes so much when we do one little thing. Okay, so we have a box full of faithfulness today. Because, guys, if I love someone, then I'm faithful to them. If I do good things to someone, I'm being faithful to God. If I share peace, then I'm being faithful. If I am kind, or if I am, there's so many things. All of the fruit of the Spirit. I'm trying to think of examples now, guys. But all the fruit of the Spirit, all 8 of them, guys, if I do them, then I'm faithful. And that's what I'm actually trying to say to you this morning. And that's why I have a box like I had with peace last week. Because if I am peaceful with other people, if I am faithful to other people, it means that I have love, joy, kindness, gentleness, meekness, mildness, self-control, all of the fruit of the Spirit in my box. Okay, so we're talking about faithfulness and kindness today. And so I thought what we're going to do today is firstly, let's figure out what does it mean to be kind. So kind is the same thing, is kindness and goodness sort of go together. And when we did the lesson on goodness, if you guys can remember, I did tell you that I will talk about goodness again when I speak about kindness, just like I spoke about kindness when I was speaking about goodness. Because you see, boys and girls, kindness is when I have that feeling of like, oh no, I feel so sorry for you that I want to do something good for you. And so therefore, kindness and goodness goes hand in hand. Then the other thing is faithfulness. Now, what is faithfulness? Now, faithfulness is when we put others, that is like family or friends, ahead of ourselves, okay? And we are loyal to them. Okay, so I'm going to read to you a little thing here. It says, putting others first and staying loyal and true to family, friends, and others we love. Let me read that again. It is putting others first and staying loyal and true to family, friends, and others we love. Oh, wow. And if I do that, then I'm going to, I'll be kind to them. Oh, that means I'm loving them. Oh, that means that I do good acts for them. Oh, that means I'm living in peace with them. Oh, there goes a whole box of fruit, guys. Can you now understand what I mean by our box of faithfulness? Let me read it again. Putting others first. Not me, others first. And staying loyal and true to them. And that means family, friends, and those that we love. Wow. The other thing is, what is faithful, is that God has given all of you, you and me, talents. Now, talents in the Bible used to be money. But talents today is what we are good at. And just the story, we're going to learn about talents a little bit later. We're going to talk a bit about that. But that is what God has given you, good gifts. Maybe you can run fast. Maybe you can sing beautifully. Maybe you're very clever. Maybe you can draw beautifully. I don't know what God has given you that is so amazing, that gift that only you've got. But boys and girls, the Bible tells us that we have to be faithful what God has given us. And if we don't use it, well, guys, we're going to lose it, because God says be faithful with it. So that, guys, in a little nutshell, is what faithful and kindness is all about. So I thought, how am I going to explain this today to you in an easy way? And then I thought, let's do 3 stories. That means, boys and girls, you are going to zoom to the storybook corner 3 times today. How yummy is it? I love stories. I hope you love stories. And so the very first story that we are going to learn about, or the very first way that we can be faithful and put others first, is with our families. Now, you guys know this family very well, because I have taught you this story before. And it's about Ruth and Naomi. And Ruth stays with Naomi after their husbands all died, and she goes back to her family, to Naomi's family, and Ruth leaves her family behind. She puts Naomi first. And you know what? If we listen to the story, when she does that, she gets the blessing. Let's see how that is. I'm going to see you back after the story. Enjoy Ruth and Naomi. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to my story about Ruth and Naomi. We find this story in the Old Testament in the book of Ruth. Now, there was a famine. That means there was very little food in the land of Israel, and the food was all gone. Elimelech took his wife Naomi and their 2 sons to live in the country of Moab. The family lived there for 10 years, and both their sons married girls from Moab. It was a very, very sad day for Naomi when her husband and both her sons got very, very sick and died. Naomi loved her sons' wives, Orpah and Ruth. She told them, "Stay here with your own people and your gods. You will find new husbands, but I must go back to my own country." So Orpah went back to her own people, but Ruth would not leave Naomi. She was very loyal and loved her very much. "I am going wherever you go," she said. "I will worship your God and be part of your family." Ruth left her own country and her family because she loved Naomi and she loved God. It was barley time when Ruth and Naomi got back to Bethlehem. The end. Welcome back, boys and girls. Well, I love the story of Ruth and Naomi. I also love the romance with Boaz. And then that baby that is born, who's the great grandfather of Jesus. Wow, how blessed was Ruth? And all she did, guys, was she was faithful. And she stuck to family. She put others first. And that is what, remember, what faithfulness is all about. Let me quickly read you a verse in Psalm 18, verse 25. It says, "Lord, you are loyal to those who are loyal. You are good to those who are good." Sure, guys, and that's exactly what happened to Ruth. God was loyal to her because she was loyal to others. God was good to her because she was good to others. Okay, so that was our first story. Our second story is about friends. And you know what, guys? This is very important for you guys. You know, we have to be loyal to and faithful to our friends. Just because other friends might give you sweets or invite you to a party doesn't mean that you have to stop being friends with the friend that you've always had. I have seen it so many times, and I've heard it so many times from my daughter and from the kids in my classes that says, you know, this other friend came and she started inviting my best friend to her party and going to movies with them, and they never invited me. And now she left me and I don't have a friend anymore. And then I also hear that this other friend who is a fly-by-night friend and just likes you when she wants to, when she didn't want to be friends with them, they would leave them. And now they were sad. And now 2 people were sad. The one that was left and the other one who, well, went with the fly-by-night friend just to be also dumped after a while. No, guys, presents and nice things isn't what a faithfulness is about. Faithfulness is about putting other people first no matter what. And so our story here, but first let me quickly read to you 2 verses before we go to our story. In Proverbs 17, verse 17, it says, "A friend loves you all the time. A brother is always there to help you." Ha! A friend loves you all the time. Guys, we have to be a friend like that loves all the time. Let me read you another verse about friendship. It's in John 15, verse 13. It says, "The greatest love a person can show is to die for his friend." Wow, guys. I don't expect you to die for your friends, but that speaks to me about faithfulness. The best thing we can do, according to the Bible, is to be faithful to our friends. Now, I have a beautiful story in the book. Now, last week we started to learn about David, right? He became King David, and remember, he married Abigail because she was the peacemaker. Now, today we're going to learn about David again, but he's now a little bit younger, and he's got a very good friend called Jonathan. Let's go and see how Jonathan is a true and faithful friend when he learns that his father, King Saul, wanted to kill his best friend David. Okay, let's zoom to the storybook corner and then we'll come back. See you back now. Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my story about Jonathan and David and their promised friendship. We find this story in 1 Samuel 18 in the Old Testament. Now, after David killed Goliath and returned as a hero, King Saul became very angry and jealous of him. King Saul's son Jonathan had become a close friend of David, and he gave him a tunic, a sword, bow, and his belt. They made a promise to remain friends. Now Saul told Jonathan to kill David, but he kept his promise, and instead of attacking David, warned him that his life was in danger. He then spoke well of David to Saul and made the king promise not to harm David. But, boys and girls, King Saul kept on being jealous and angry and wanting to kill David. Now, David arranged a secret meeting with Jonathan. They made a promise to show kindness to each other and their families. The next day was the new moon feast, and David was supposed to eat with the king, but he was going to hide in a field instead. Jonathan agreed to let David know if Saul was angry and still planned to kill him. They arranged a secret signal involving an arrow being shot to let David know whether it was safe or if he needed to flee. So David hid in the field. When the new moon feast came, the king sat down to eat. David's place was empty. Saul did not comment. But the next day, when David's place at the table was still empty, Saul asked, "Why isn't David here?" Jonathan gave the excuse he and David agreed upon and told his father that David was in Bethlehem with his family making a sacrifice. Saul's anger fled at Jonathan. "You have sided with David to your own shame. As long as he lives, you will not become king. Send David to me so I can kill him," Saul said. "Why should he be put to death? What has he done?" Jonathan asked. Saul hurled his spear at Jonathan in anger. There was now no doubt that David's life was in danger. The next morning, Jonathan went out to the field where David was hiding. He told the small boy with him, "Run and find the arrows I shoot." As the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy came to the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called out the secret signal he had made to warn David. "Isn't the arrow beyond you? Hurry, go, quickly, don't stop." That was the signal. The boy picked up the arrow and returned it to his master. Jonathan gave his weapons to the boy and said, "Go, carry them back to town." After the boy had gone, David got up from his hiding place and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. They kissed each other and wept together. But David wept even more. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord. God is a witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." The 2 friends departed. David left to go into hiding, and Jonathan, well, he returned home. The end. Welcome back, boys and girls. Wow, I love that story. And in my heart, I always want to be a friend that is so faithful. And I try to be very faithful to my friends. Even if they hurt my heart, I'm still very faithful to them. And so, boys and girls, that is a beautiful story of friendship. Don't ever forget it. Okay, and then the last one is where I spoke to you about the talents that Jesus gave you, those good things that God gave you. Let me quickly read to you what it says in James 1 verse 17. It says, "Every good action and every perfect gift is from God. These good gifts come down from the creator of the sun, moon, and stars. God does not change like their shifting shadows." He says God doesn't change, okay, but he gives us all the good and perfect actions and gifts. What does that mean, boys and girls? It means that when God gives us a special gift, now you know what your gift is. Like I said to you in the beginning of the lesson, maybe you can run fast. Maybe you can sing beautifully. Maybe you can tell beautiful stories. Maybe you are very clever and get high marks at school. I don't know what your gift is. Maybe God has given you a gift to love people. Oh, guys, God has given us all so many gifts. And when we're as young as you guys, we don't always know what our gifts are. Sometimes it's not there yet. Don't give up. Try and figure out what those gifts are that God has given you. And then he says, use them. Now, in our next story, we find a story about talents, which I told you isn't talents like our gifts that God gave us, but it was money. But it's in the same thing, because God gave 3 people a certain amount of money. And he said, well, not God, sorry, the owner gave his people some money. And he said, I was going to go away, his servants. And he says, I'm going to go away. And while I'm away, do something with these gifts. Do something with these talents. And guys, when we listen to the story, you'll see that 2 of them, wow, they used those talents to good use. But one of them was too scared to use it. And he buried his talent because he was scared somebody would steal it. Let's see what happens at the end of the story with these 3 people. I'll see you back now. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to my story about the parable of the talents of gold. We find this story in Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30 in the New Testament. Now, Jesus was teaching about the kingdom of heaven and told this parable. That is a story. The kingdom of heaven will be like a man going on a journey. He called his servants and entrusted his wealth, that is his money and belongings, to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold,
to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag. Each servant was given talents of gold according to his ability. Then the master went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went immediately and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. The servant with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, oh dear, dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Oh no! After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. Now I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will now put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I know you are a hard and difficult man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground where I knew it would be safe. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gathered where I have not scattered seeds. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return, I would have gained at least some interest. So he took the bag of gold from him and gave it to the one who had 10 bags. Throw this worthless servant outside into the darkness, he said. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The end.
Welcome back, boys and girls. Whew. Did you see what happened? He lost his talent. Now, guys, that is now, don't go and think your talents are money. That's not what it is. Talents are those good gifts that God has given you. Run fast, do good, whatever it is. But the lesson here is that we need to be faithful with what God has given us and use them and develop them. So if you are a good athlete, practice hard. If you're a good singer, practice your voice. If you're a good musician, play your instruments every day. So don't hide away the good things that God has given to you. Use them. Be faithful with them. And don't just use them for yourselves. That's not what it's about. Use your talents to help others. Wow, boys and girls, I love the fruit of faithfulness. Oh, guys, it reminds me of a little dog that follows his master everywhere because he's so faithful and he loves his master. In a sense, guys, that's how we should be. We should be faithful little dogs who love our masters unconditionally. We need to love our neighbors unconditionally and therefore be faithful. We should do good acts to our neighbors and therefore we shall be faithful. And so on and so on and so on. So this week, guys, be faithful to your families. Put them first. Your siblings, put them first. Secondly, your friends. Don't walk away from friends just because other friends give you sweets and chocolates and invite you to parties. No, be faithful like Jonathan and David. And lastly, be faithful with the good things, those good talents that God has given you. Now, I want to hear about all your good talents. I want to hear about how you were so faithful to friends and to family. Now, we are going to go to the Doodle Studio and do some craft. But I want you today to remember to be faithful in everything you do. I'm going to read this little thing to you again so that you never forget it. Faithfulness is putting others first and staying loyal and true to family, friends, and others we love, and to use all the good things, the talents that God has given us, faithfully and not to waste it. All right, boys and girls, be good, be faithful, be full of fruit of the Spirit, and I'll see you back next week. Bye. Hello, Vix. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Doodle Studio. Remember how to doodle. Just doodle it. Doodle, kids. Okay, let's go see what Vicky has for us today. She's got 3 amazing crafts. Okay, the very first one is about, remember, where we are faithful to our families. And we spoke about Ruth and Naomi. So, what do we need? Firstly, you go to the kids' webpage where you find these following pages. There is Ruth and Naomi. Okay. You will also find a page full of fruit. Okay. And then we need coloring in pencils. We need some glue. We need a craft knife, a craft stick, scissors, and a pig. All right. Okay. So let's see what Vicky is going to show us. The very first thing we do is we're going to cut out our pictures, which Vicky has done for us. And because our lesson is on faithfulness, she chose to cut out the pineapple that says faithfulness. Thank you very much, Vicky. Vicky has cut all of those away. Let's ask her now to show us what we are going to do with those pages. Okay, the very first thing is obviously we know we cut them out and then we color them in. Now, Vicky's already colored them in on our final picture, but let's show you what's going to happen before that. The very first thing you do is when you have your big picture is to actually see that there's a black line, okay? And what we're going to do is we are going to use our craft knives. Now, boys and girls, this is a job for an adult or for somebody that's much older than you. So, cut out that line so that it is open. Look, there we go. Vicky's fingers can go through it. Right. Let's put that one side and let's get our finished product. Okay, because Vicky has colored it in for us. Now what we do is you take your craft stick and you take your picture that you have colored in of Ruth. And then you are going to actually stick it on. And then it says on that picture, where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. And that's where she shows how faithful she is. Let's put that away. Thank you so much. And let's get your finished product. There it is. Let's get it. Look how beautiful that is colored in. So now what we do is we slit in. There we go. And she runs straight to her and says, oh, I am not going to leave you. I'm going to go with you. I am faithful. You are my family. And so, boys and girls, this is what we need to do. We have to be faithful. We have to put our family first before ourselves, guys. And just like Naomi and Ruth, we have family together and be faithful. Oh, that is a beautiful picture of Naomi and Ruth, and it shows you how faithful Ruth was. Beautiful picture. Oh, now remember, what did we do with that pig? Because we're not doing a craft specifically on the fruit of the Spirit, take your pig, take the fruit that you have cut out. Now remember, we have taken the one with the pineapple that says faithfulness, stick it onto a pig, and then, guys, just pop it onto somewhere on your picture. Now you will never forget that faithfulness is a fruit of the Spirit and that you have to be faithful to your family, just like Ruth and Naomi. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Vicky. We're looking forward to the next class. Welcome back, boys and girls, to our next one, which is about David and Jonathan. This is faithfulness to our friends. Now, we have a very strange looking craft here. Remember, go to the kids' webpage, go down to the Doodle Studio, where you will find this strange looking page. We will also need, if you want to, color it in, but we will need a punch. We need to have a string, or in this case, we're using a pipe cleaner and a pair of scissors. Oh, and then, we mustn't forget our faithfulness peg. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. So Vicky has been very kind, and she's already cut out the bow and the arrow for us. Now, guys, there's 2 bows and arrows on there. So you can do one for David and one for Jonathan. But we are just going to make one of them. Okay, so this is what we do. Once you've cut out the bow and the arrow, let's split them up so they can see them. That's it. The first thing we're going to do is, if you look at your bow, you will see there's 2 little white spaces on the sides. Yes. And so what we're going to do is, let's look at the one that's cut out. We are going to put holes in those sides right there. Can you see? Vicky has already put holes there with the punch. There we go. Now what we're going to do is put a hole in the top of the arrow. And Vicky's already done that for us as well. Thank you. The arrow says, let me read it to you. 1 Samuel 20, verse 37. Jonathan yelled out, "Isn't the arrow farther out?" And that's when David knew he was in trouble and he had to run away. And then in our bow it says, Jonathan said, "Go in peace." Go in peace from last week, guys. The 2 of us has vowed friendship in God's name, saying, God will be the bond between me and you and between my children and your children forever. Wow, guys, how faithful is Jonathan. Okay, so now take your pipe cleaner, and the first thing we do is we put the arrow through the pipe cleaner. Yeah. And put it to the middle of it. Then, guys, the edges of each side of the pipe cleaner goes into one of the ones on the one side of the bow, and one side of the other side of the bow. And just, you don't have to thread it too far in, just in and tuck it in because it's got a wire in there. There we go. And on the other side. And now it looks like a bow with a string. Ours is just very, very colorful. Oh, wow, look at that, boys and girls. And there we have a bow with a string and an arrow ready to go, to help David escape. Hey, so boys and girls, you can make as many of these bows as you want to. Now, there's only one more thing we have to do, because our lesson is about faithfulness. Remember your little peg with your fruit on, and we're going to ask Becky to stick it on wherever she likes on our picture. Oh, there we go. Now we can't forget about being faithful with our friends. That is a beautiful craft, Vicky. Thank you very, very much. Boys and girls, are you ready to zoom to our last craft? Let's go. Welcome back, boys and girls, to our last craft. And do you guys remember? This was on the talents. Now, our story was about money talents, but I taught you that talents is those actions, those gifts that God has given you that you are so good at. So, we have got a gift or an action little pouch, okay, like they had in the Old Testament, but it's not full of money. It is full of wonderful things that you are so good at. So what do we need for this craft? Firstly, remember, go to the kids' webpage, and in the Doodle Studio, you will find the following craft. A little pouch that you're going to use to put in to keep your actions and your things that you are so gifted in safely. Then we have another page that has some of the gifts that you might have and your gift might not even be there. But who knows? There's so many gifts that God can give us. Then we need some coloring in pencils, a scissors, and some glue. And oh, look who's joined us, Mr. Faithfulness. Okay, so guys, the very first thing we're going to do is cut out all the pictures. And how cool was Vicky cutting it all out for us already? Right, let's make space for it. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is to go and color in all of those. Now, we're not going to color them in. Vicky's already finished one that is colored. So you guys are going to stop now and go and color in all your pictures. Now, guys, there's one that's got a pen. That means you are very good at writing. There's a book. That means you are very good at reading. Oh, there's a flower. Maybe you're very good at planting fruit and vegetables. Oh, there's a mixing bowl. Maybe you're very good at baking. Oh, and there's a fishy in a pond. Maybe you are very good looking after your fish. Hey, then there is a palette with paint. Maybe you are a very good painter and you make beautiful pictures. Oh, and there's a piano. Maybe you are very good at playing an instrument. Oh, there's a puzzle. That means you might be very clever and get very high marks. Oh, and then there is a camera. And just like Vicky, maybe you are a superstar on TV. Guys, and there are so many more. Remember, we don't even have one here about an athlete. Remember, we spoke about soccer and about running this morning. But these are just some of the things of the gifts that God could have given you. So, what are we going to do with this? Firstly, you're going to take your little pouch that says, use whatever gift you have received to serve others. Now remember what I told you in the lesson today. God gives us gifts. Firstly, we shouldn't bury it and we should use it faithfully, but also use it to help others. Okay, so Vicky, please can you stick our little pouch onto our bag? Now, boys and girls, please be very mindful that we're only doing it on the sides, all around, but not on the top. Watch Vicky very carefully when she does this. She doesn't put the glue on the top. She only goes around, all around in a half circle. There she goes. And she stops. And now she's going to put it on the bottom part of our pouch. Oh, she's very particular. Look at that. Very good. Okay, boys and girls. Now, once you have colored it in, you can now, for safekeeping, keep all the gifts that you have inside. There you go. Can you pop them in there for us and then get your color one? Oh, look, you're putting all our gifts. There we go. Just put them all inside. Oh, there's lots of them, and I'm sure there's more. You can draw your own pictures at the back of these circles, guys, if there are more gifts that you have gotten. Okay. Can we swap yours for a coloring in one that's already colored? Right. That is beautiful. But Vicky, what did Jesus say? What must we do with our gifts? We have to be faithful with them. Are we supposed to hide them away? Absolutely not. So Vicky, I suggest you take out those gifts that God's given you. Put them around so that we can use them faithfully. Oh, look, they're all coming out of her pouch. I think Vicky has forgotten that what this lesson is all about, guys. Let's remind Vicky. Vicky, can you get your peg that says faithfulness on there? Stick it onto your pouch, please. Boys and girls, I don't think Vicky is going to forget ever to be faithful again with the gifts that God has given her. She's very gifted with craft, hey, boys and girls. And now, boys and girls, you can stick all these little things just around you can just put them all around your thing, wherever you are. You can put it on a piece of paper, but look at it. She's just spreading out all the gifts that God has given her, and she's choosing and seeing, oh, I like this, I can do this, I can do that. And she's definitely not burying any of the gifts that God has given her. Oh, look at that. So, boys and girls, remember, that little pouch is only for safekeeping. We definitely don't keep them in there and bury it like our story. No. We are faithful what God gives us. Oh, look how beautiful that is. And it says there, use whatever gift you have received to serve others faithfully. Wow, Vicky, your craft is very beautiful. But please don't forget, Vicky, do not hide them away. She's shaking her head. Let's go up and say goodbye to Vicky. Boys and girls, Vicky, don't forget to hide. Don't ever hide your gifts because you are very talented. All right, boys and girls, what we now need to do is say goodbye to you. We'll see you next week. Remember how to doodle it. Just doodle it. Doodle kids.